Hello, I'm Joel Blackford with Beth Hesed Sabbath Fellowship. Thank you for joining us. We're virtual only. We're based out of St. Paul, Minnesota. We do the thought behind the thought. We're Beth Hesed Sabbath Fellowship, but we do the philosophy. John Haller does a great job on the news. I try to give you the eschatological background that you need to know going forward as the world just seems to be collapsing. So, what do you need to know? Your reality, our existence. We try to solve a little piece of Revelation that's going to be chapter 9 today. It's going to be the fifth trumpet. And the reason for that is that the wicked are worshiping right now. I think they're trying to open portals. But why? Why would this worship, why would worship of the wicked open portals? What's going on? So we'll get through the Bible. Today was the eclipse day. I'm up in Minnesota. I saw nothing. I was outside during the time and I looked at the sun, but the sun was obscured by clouds. But it's still cool, and you can see, obviously, it's around Earth. It's all mathematical, people. So the main thing is the eclipse was cool, but it was on Aviv 1, which is Nisan 1, which is the Aviv harvest. It's Exodus 12, 1 through 3, and it really decides that that's the new year. For us, and Passover comes within 14 days. So it's just intriguing to note that. And there it is. There's the picture. This is from Mark Biltz. And Aviv 1, the Nissan calendar. Aviv is the biblical term for it. Well, I think this Nissan is listed also, I think, in the Bible. A few of the months are. This is the start of God's calendar. And we will probably use more of the fall calendar, which is based off Tishri 1 and leads into Rosh Hashanah, and then obviously Yom Kippur in Sukkot in that month. But you have to look at both calendars. The end times calendar probably will start in the fall because all the other festivals have been fulfilled, so to speak, and so the last three have not. So it seems like that's the direction that we're going. So what are we trying to do for you? We're showing you the philosophy of the end of days. We're talking about the eclipse that occurred. Nothing happened. It was a nothing burger, as expected, but it was interesting because I study another man named Dr. William Schnoebelen, and he's out of southern Iowa. He's the Quad Cities, I believe. Nice guy, great guy. And so he's really saying that Revelation 9, this key to the abyss, that there are portals being opened by the worship of the evil people on the planet. And we'll give you my take on that in a few minutes. But he's citing the big three. Aleister Crowley, the Equinox of the gods. This is that time when he received his channeling, so to speak, via his wife Rose in Egypt. That seems to be a portal where he was at. And so he gave his thelema, the book of the law, and this seems to be their big celebration. So if you're an evil Crowleyite, you're celebrating April 8th through the 10th because it's been the 120th year. Okay. Also, CERN is creating an opening to the demonic, and we'll show you Revelation 9 in the next slide, and we'll see what you think. And also, the solar eclipse will heighten the dark powers. They know this is important. I'll show you those slides too. Keep in mind, this video is not for the kiddies. So if you have little children watching, don't let them watch this one. It was even too dark for me. And I'm kind of in terms of darkness, I'm kind of a virgin because I never really studied it much as a kid or as an adult for that matter. I've dealt with evil, but I don't like it. So let's get into Revelation chapter 9 and discuss the verses so that you'll see why I think that they're trying to open up alien portals. So the fifth angel sounded the shofar, and I saw a star that had fallen out of heaven onto the earth, and he was given the key. We don't know what that key is, to the shaft. I'm arguing that is a portal leading down to the abyss. That's underneath the ground someplace. He opened the shaft of the abyss, and there went up smoke from the shaft like the smoke of a huge furnace. The sky was darkened. The sun was darkened, rather. The sky, too, which is similar to what's going on right now, by the smoke of the shaft. There is no smoke that I know of right now. Then out of the smoke, onto the earth came locusts. And they were given power like the power scorpions have on earth. They were instructed not to harm the grass of the earth or any green plant or any tree, but only people, the people, who did not have the seal of God on their foreheads. That sounds like Ezekiel 9:4, and that is Revelation 9:4. The locusts were not allowed to kill them, only to inflict pain on them for 5 months, and the pain they caused was like the pain of a scorpion's sting. In those days, people will seek death, possibly suicide, but not find it. They will long to die, but death will elude them. Once again, Revelation 9:1-6. So let's talk about it in terms of what you're seeing. So the eclipses seem to be important in terms of the evil people, the Crowleyites. And there's Aleister Crowley, possibly the wickedest man in the world ever. He was into pedophilia and other things like that. Really a sick, demented man. But the eclipses factor in because this is his 120th year. And you can see the olive on the right-hand side, which is the paleo olive when it's turned to the side. Well, when it is like that. It's not the Babylonian script, but those are the eclipses of 2017, 2021, 2023, and now 2024. It makes an olive. And Yeshua is the Aleph and the Tav. You could call it the Alpha and the Omega. But really, I'm more of a Hebrew speaker, and we see it as more of a Jewish thought, which would be the Aleph, and then the Tav. The 2017 and the 2024 eclipses make that Tav on the right-hand side. So once again, it's 120 years, and they are celebrating right now. So I've been fasting the last 20-ish hours, and I'll continue to fast until the sun sets. I want you to see the eclipse in the WEF logo. These are wicked people. Look on the left-hand side and then notice the eclipse on the other side, on the right-hand side, and you'll see that's what they're trying to talk about. So they know there's something important in the eclipse. They know it, okay? They did this on purpose to show this, okay? And what do they stand for? Welcome to 2030. You will own nothing, have no privacy, and life has never been better. You'll own nothing, people, okay? They worship Mother Earth. They want to implement the Mark of the Beast system. The pandemic represents a rare but narrow window of opportunity to reflect, reimagine, and the Great Reset. Okay, so that's Klaus Schwab. He is one sickening beast of a man, and he's trying to bring this to us. So that their logo again is an eclipse. Okay, you saw it in the last slide. Here you go, one more time. That was the eclipse. Then the other group involved in the evil is the 666 of the CERN. Do you see it on the left-hand side? In there, 666 in CERN, and then on the right-hand side is the Chi, the key, and the stigma. We don't know what a stigma means, but we assume it's a 6. It's normally a sigma in the present-day Greek, but in this case it was written as a stigma. Once again, John was writing Koine Greek, and he was not a Greek expert. So who knows why he wrote it that way, but he did. Okay, and so we come up with 666 from that. Either way, it is the number of a man, of a person, and so that is 6 in the Hebrew language, in Gematria we call it, is 666. Okay, so this is where wisdom, Sophia, is needed. Those who understand should count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a person, and its number is 666. So that's CERN. That's what they're honoring. I'm arguing that CERN was built over a portal. I'll show you the slide at the end of all the portals. Stick with me then. But why would they reactivate on April 8th after a few years of downtime? And what's going on with them? Why is CERN doing this? I believe they're trying to open up a portal. This is worship. All of their activities to get this started. Well, read in the middle of the slide here. Out of this door, this portal, I argue, might come something, or we might send something through it, said Sergio Bertolucci, who was the Director of Research and Scientific Computing at CERN back in 2009. That is what they want to do, to worship and pull things out through the portal. Okay, and you read it in Revelation 9. That's where that portal factors. Okay, and so the collider is a circle. It seems to be a circular portal, so to speak, and it runs along 27 kilometers. Okay, so once again, their logo is the 666. Their other logo is this particular SHIVA. You know how to spell it. I'm not going to say it. I'll just say the letters. But that SHIVA, the great destroyer destined to annihilate the cosmos at the end of time, then reborn as part of the endless cycle of death and rebirth. That is their namesake, okay? And Carl Sagan blessed it too. It's a cosmic dance of subatomic particles. Very weird. But that's the statue at CERN. Keep that in mind. Do you see it? Yep. Okay. NASA. Technically, that's it's like Nisi would be to lift up. In this case, it's NASA, and that would be to deceive, deceived, greatly deceived, beguiled. Yeah, and their mission is APEP, sending 3 missiles toward the skies, so to speak, to observe. They're interesting rockets that are sounding rockets that are going to be sent on April 8th to study how the Earth's upper atmosphere is affected when sunlight momentarily dims over a portion of the planet. The problem is they named it after a serpent god. Apophis, which is also known as APEP, is the great serpent, the enemy of the sun god Ra. In ancient Egyptian religion, the sun is Ra's great barge, which sailed through the sky from dawn to dusk and then descended into, I'm arguing, a portal to the underworld. As it sailed through the darkness, it was attacked by Apophis, who sought to kill Ra and prevent sunrise from world history. So, do you see it? Do you see what's going on with the connections? Then, do you see the launch here that it is related, possibly, Tom Horn says, to an end-of-the-world comet? Well, let's call it a meteor right now. Well, I don't know if it's a meteor or a comet. We'll find out later on. Asteroid, we'll call it that, okay? That is supposed to show up on Friday the 13th of 2029. Very interesting. There are these battles, the unseen battles, and NASA is aware of that, and so they named their missiles after APEP. Very interesting, after Apophis. So that's on 4/8 of 24 again. Also, the planets are aligning. There's a song from the 1970s, Aquarius, Let the Sunshine In, when the moon is in the 7th house and Jupiter aligns with Mars. And let's see here. We do not see Jupiter aligning with Mars. We see other planets aligning right now, but all 7 planets will be in the sky at the moment of the April 8th eclipse, something else that I didn't see. So, then peace will guide the planets and love will steer the stars. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Is that actually beginning? Is that what they're trying to force upon us? I don't know, but they are worshiping. So this is from the Scarlet Woman Lodge, April 8th through the 10th, the 3 days of writing of the Book of the Law. And this demon that was called AIWASS dictated the Book of the Law to Crowley's wife Rose. And so Led Zeppelin was involved in this. They were involved in this cult worship. When they were feasting today and tomorrow and the next day, we should be fasting. So I've been fasting, and I'm doing fine. I mean, I'm an old college and high school wrestler, so fasting for me was a way of life, especially now. I was usually at nationals about now. So the Equinox of the Gods by Aleister Crowley. This is sick. This is why this is not for the kiddies. So basically, there's that third eye, the Cyclops type of a thing. The new age of God, of strength and joy, is approaching, and he trumpets the sound of the march of war. Aleister Crowley details the curious fate that led him to this crisis, the exact circumstances surrounding this revelation, the precise times, and planetary influences at work, the strange psychic messages and occult forces operated around him. Now, do you know why it's not for the kiddies? Past societies no longer offer answers and places us in direct lineage with the great forces of the divine nature. So you see the 5-pointed star there. You see the weird figurines, the animals, the hybrids, the other things like that. That's what he was into. The cuneiform tablets from Egypt, things like that. Just weird stuff. And so the Wiccans, the pagans, their holiday calendar, they have their Sabbaths. We have our Sabbaths. We have 52 per year. They have 8. And they include, I won't say the names. You can read them. It's the pink line. But they have each Sabbath has its own unique significance and rituals associated with it. The problem is they're trying to curse us. And this is from an article from Friends of the Forest. Continuing on, The new moon in Aries. I don't know much about the 12 cycles, and Aries is one of those. It's a powerful celestial event that offers us an opportunity to express ourselves through meditative, creative task, whatever. It is time to release negativity and yeah, whatever. But they note the total eclipse. They note this. They note that it's related to the goddess Kali, who is on the right-hand side. I'm sorry I said it, but there you go. That's why it's not for the kiddies. They want to invoke the power of this goddess, okay? And this is for New Jersey. The Wiccans and the witches have a big plans for the supercharged energy of the April solar eclipse. They know this is important. They are viewing it. They're ready for it. And so basically in this article, it's a scene that will strike many as magical or ominous. For some, it will also be a highly spiritual event. Across New Jersey, North New Jersey, many Wiccans, Pagans, and Druids view 2024's eclipse as a source of powerful energy. Witches have typically viewed these solar eclipses, as bad omens. But they say this one is a good energy, a positive energy, powerful, highly energetic time. This is so dark. This is why I don't do videos like this typically, okay? So this is a master shaman, and he says this eclipse is important because he's invoking the power of the goddess Kali and some Sekhmet. I don't know anything about the second one, but this is Egyptian healing and the weird magic. And so this guy... Okay, so the main point is, how would you know if these particular Satanists were able to open a portal? I mean, they don't run out and tell you, hey, we opened a portal today. When would you realize a portal is open? Will it be spiritual or physical in that manifestation that causes the portal or portals to open and the creatures to pour out upon the earth? So we don't know, but obviously this is worship to them, and they're trying to invoke this goddess Kali, her divine mother's power. Weird stuff, but they're trying to do it, okay? And during this time, America is trying to divide Israel, and that's a curse too. So there's not only their curses coming from these goddess worshippers, but also we should not be dividing Israel. God knows that if we do so, he will divide us. And so none of these two-state solutions work, because right now the Palestinians could just hand back the hostages and declare peace and surrender, and everything would be over. But they won't, because this is a spiritual battle. So there is no two-state solution. There is no way to resolve this other than Israel constantly staying at war and God finally determining this at the end. But if America does cause Israel to divide, they will be cursed. So now let's get into the verses, the good stuff that I like. So keep in mind that the lights of the dome in the sky are there to divide the day from the night. Let them be for signs, otot, seasons, moedim, our festivals, days and years, and let them be the lights in the dome for the sky to give light to the earth. That's Genesis 1:14 through 15. And then Yeshua, when he was born, had this special star that appeared. And the Magi followed the star. And then the star stopped. And then finally it moved again. It stopped over the place then finally where the child was. And once they saw the star, they were overjoyed at seeing the Messiah. So keep in mind, God uses very quiet signs to alert us. And the signs matter. Now, the sages, again, I've cited this before. When the sun is eclipsed, the sages say it's a bad omen for the entire world. When the sun is eclipsed, once again, when the sun is eclipsed, it's a bad omen for the entire world, because the world reckons off the sun, our years and things like that. But yet, when the moon is eclipsed, it's a bad omen for the enemies of the Jewish people, specifically, not just the nations, just the enemies, the Haman type people, Agagites, things like that. So the Amalekites, we would call it today. So just keep that in mind. When the sun is eclipsed in the west, it is a bad omen for the residents of the lands in the west. So this is not a good sign according to thousands of years of Talmudic information, which is Sukkah 29a. Okay, moving forward, just so you're again aware that these eclipses are interesting. Obviously, it's over Little Egypt. It happens to be the position of where the sun is relative to the moon or the earth, and it can vary based on a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse. In the odd case, Salem is short for Jerusalem, and the sun went through 7 cities in 2017, and the 2024 eclipse will go through 8 cities named Nineveh. Nineveh is Jonah, and there was a time to repent. So 7 Salems, 8 Ninevehs. What does it mean? And also the cicadas and other things like that. Many, many signs. I've gone through that already. And it's generally tied to war. Mark Biltz wrote a book about war, that he thinks the eclipses mean war. And it's hard to argue with him right now, But obviously, back in 1778 and 1780, Revolutionary War. 1860s, Civil War. 1970s, Vietnam War. So we know that it's related to war, but what kind of a war and when? But Mark Biltz is correct. And then, the 8th one would be 2017, and now the 9th one is 2024. Thank you, Mark, for that. Keep in mind also, then today would be when Moses would set up the wilderness tabernacle. Bamidbar means wilderness, and Mishkan means tabernacle. And so they would have been setting it up today and sanctifying the holy items. So it's very, very interesting that those things would be occurring on this day as the pagans are worshiping, and we're remembering that we're approaching Passover and the Passover lamb. So my point to watch is I can't figure out where the head people are in the world today, in terms of what location they're worshiping at, but it's someplace, okay? And I can't tell you other than I know watch the 10th day of Nisan, which should be, oh goodness, let's see if I can see it here. Okay, the 19th of April through the 20th, and then the 20th, 21st, and the 22nd. Those are the 4 days of the inspection of the Lamb. So just watch for signs related to that. Back in 2019, on Nisan 1, we had Obama giving a speech at the seat of Satan in Berlin, Germany. And then on the 10th, his wife watched an arsonist. Yeah, she was out of the river right in Paris there, watching an arsonist set fire to Notre Dame. Okay, you can't make this stuff up. So just watch the 10th day, people, and be aware of the inspection time frame. What's being inspected? I think we're being inspected. There's a 40-day time frame from Adar 2 to Nisan 10. So just keep that in mind. And then also the earthquake. Okay, very interesting that we had a 4.8 earthquake the other day here. And according to Jeremy Gimple, well, I'll just read the Torah section to you first. If they will not believe you, God said, or listen to the first sign, they may believe the latter sign. So we had the first sign in 2017, now the latter sign in 2024. And so 1 in 3 of the Arab population are not sure that burning Jewish families alive in their homes is wrong. Earthquakes rocked New York and Iran on Friday, which is earthquake of 4.8 power, okay, seismic power, and then the eclipse on 4.8, and then Exodus 4.8. The latter sign, I don't know. So basically what I'm getting at is I believe this sign is that the portals are trying to be opened. Whether they're being opened or not, I don't know. But according to Dr. Heiser, demons are the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim. Demons have existed for millennia, whereas the Watchers are imprisoned in the abyss. First Enoch tells us that they will be released at the end of, I can't remember how many generations it was, but we seem to be at that point in time. These Watchers are a higher level of authority than demons, a higher level of power and authority. Isaiah 24:21 and Ephesians 6 describes the different levels of authorities in these other forces, okay? The Satanists are worshiping to release the Watchers of Revelation 9, or so I assume, okay? And is this the sign that's occurring right now? And how would you know if something's been opened? How would you know if there are Watchers popping out underneath the ground? Well, you would know if it was Revelation 9, but what if this is a longer process to be able to open these portals? Okay, so now I'm going to give you the portal list in terms of what a friend shared with me last night. He believes that CERN, Switzerland, is a portal. As I mentioned, that CERN location is round. It seems to be built on an ancient Roman fort, not fort, but Oh goodness, oh, well, how would I describe it? It is a temple to Apophi or Apollo rather. That's it. So it's in Apollo's temple. Okay, in CERN. That was that location, built in about 45 to 55 BC or AD. Giza seems to be a portal. Tibet is a portal. Antarctica is a weird portal, but it's a portal. It started in about the 30s or the 40s. And I have friends that have been there and been aware of that. Argentina seems to have a portal. The Sahara Desert seems to have a portal. Stonehenge in Great Britain seems to be a portal. New Madrid, Missouri seems to be a portal. Just be aware of that. People are trying to open these portals. So now let's read a little bit from Amos 5 through 7, 7 through 9 rather. You who turn justice to bitter wormwood and throw righteousness to the ground, he who made the Pleiades and Orion, who brings death-like shadows over the morning, who darkens the day with night, that sounds like an eclipse, who calls for the water in the sea, with it floods the earth. Adonai is his name. He flashes destruction on the strong so that the destruction overcomes the fortress. So keep in mind, he made the Pleiades and Orion, but he also brings these eclipses and darkens the day into night and calls for judgment, basically, okay, and destruction. And it'll happen. So these horrible people, the wicked people, they will prosper for a period of time per Jeremiah 12, 1 through 3. Adonai, although you would be right if I were to dispute with you, nevertheless, I want to discuss some points of justice with you. Why do the wicked prosper? All of these groups that I showed you, why are they prospering? They do. Why do the treacherous all thrive? You planted them, they took root, they grew, they bear fruit. You are near in their mouths, yet far from their hearts. But Adonai, you know me and see me. You test my devotion to you, drag them away like sheep to be slaughtered, and set them apart. It's like consecrating for the day of slaughter. Yeah, it's Haraga, which is unkosher carnage. That's what's coming for them. So stay on the good side. Stay on God's side. Don't be one of the evil ones. We are in the birth pangs, more than likely in the fourth seal. I believe the third seal opened in 2012. I could give you more information on that in other videos, but we're bouncing along through the birth pangs. Then the tribulation would hit at some point in time in the future. I don't know when. Then the Great Tribulation during the last 3.5 years. I think what you need to be aware of is that you need to keep your eschatology open and moving, because things will change. And keep in mind, your goal is to make the wedding celebration with Yeshua. So whether it's Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur or Sukkot, you need clean garments. You can't be naked. It's a wedding coming up. Get ready for a great celebration and be blessed. Thank you very much for your time. And we'll see you again, hopefully, in about 6 days now.